Try another way. Live, join broadcast. Try another way. Anyway, it should be live. We'll see if anyone comes in. I'll tag friends. Okay. Tag Terry. Tag Rooney. Just trying to tag a few. It's all the people local ones here. Doobie-doobie-doo. I'll soak that. I'll see if anyone can see me. Right then. So I'm allowed to come back on Facebook again. Hopefully I'll get somebody on here and they'll see me. It's got nobody looking at the moment. I'm not sure whether it's made it public. I just thought I'd come and share some thoughts because of how crazy it is out here at the moment. I think I've got one person seeing now. Just want to see if whether or not you can hear me, or whether it's breaking up as it was last time when I was going lives, doing my lives, because it's now letting me go live again. So just want to see if anyone can hear me. So if you can just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, or if it's breaking up again. Where's the comments? Start to reveal comments. So anyway, I've got one person listening. So I thought I'd just come and share my thoughts. That person's now gone. So anyway, the live goes live afterwards anyway. So it goes as a video. So obviously you got a limit to what it is you can say about things. We know what's going on in this world right now. I know that whatever you say, because the fact checkers have also been shown and proven to be dishonest and discrediting anything that's being put out there. I'm pretty certain that the fact checkers, because the fact checkers that became fact checkers all sold out initially. They probably all started as good people making the fact checkers, and once they became established, they sold out and they was bought. And I would imagine it's pretty much similar the same as anything else. It would be part of that group of selected people. Probably might as well just say it's the Bar Association, because I would dare say that it will be, in them fact checkers, there will be a load of legals, like lawyers, liars as you know, and solicitors, which are prostitutes. So these people will be going through your words, and they will be breaking it down, and they'll be discrediting it through the words, because that's how they discredit everything basically, and that's the whole thing. They discredit you by disqualifying you by the qualifications of the words that you're using. So what is actually being shown to us in a similar sense, in the same way as I explained, as my explanation to how Anthony Baddeloo had exposed the courts and their the procedure rules of how a court case, if a court case was a genuine and authentic court case, and that it had the authority of the court, then there would have been an information lay that would have been laid at the court for the court to have issued the proceedings to whoever it was that was being invited to the court. So therefore, how they broke us down, let's say by us, those people that was making that little extra 10 bucks or 50 quid or whatever it was, that could get their hands on MOT certificates and insurance cover notes. So years gone by, for the younger generation now that will not be aware of it, because they've only been aware of what is now, what's happening now. So since the younger generation never realised that years gone by, MOT certificates and insurance notes could be given and they couldn't check on the computer to see whether or not they was genuine or not, because the insurance and the MOT certificates were not on the computer database. There was ways of checking out, because there's every way of checking out, always is, but they wouldn't do that. They didn't have that computer. If it's not easy for them to do it, they won't do it, because otherwise an MOT certificate, you'd have to phone the garage up, give the MOT number and the date and time, and if it wasn't logged in their logging of the MOTs that they've done, then it wouldn't have been a real MOT certificate, even if it was the real MOT certificate, because there used to be people that used to steal the book of MOTs, and they used to get the stamp also from the garage. So if someone was pulled over in a car, and years gone by this is, if someone was pulled over in a car and they didn't have an MOT on the car, and they was given a producer 7 days to go and produce the certificate to prove that their car is MOT'd, they used to get a counterfeit one. Yeah, so they used to find someone that had got you could buy photocopies, which were just complete copies of them. You could get real good ones, obviously. You could get real good ones, but you could also get the actual genuine MOT certificate with the embossed seal that from the garage that had been stolen. And you could take those MOT certificates into the police station and produce, and the policeman would go, "Thank you very much," and on your way, and nothing would happen of it. However, to get around that, and the same again, similar same thing with an insurance. If you was pulled over and given a producer to produce your insurance, and you had no insurance on your car, you could get a cover note, and you used to fill it in for your car and take the cover note in, and again, same thing. And you used to get these books, the cover note books that people would get, or you could again also have a photocopy. But at the end of the day, the way they cancelled that out was by logging everything onto the computer. So when a policeman now pulls your car over with the PNC check, he can tell whether your motor vehicle, yeah, we won't go into the difference between the corporation and the non-corporate, you know, the man, woman travelling in his automobile, or a person travelling in his car. But that's a different story. But I'm just sticking to the what we need to stick to, which is what I'm trying to explain, which is how they voided your ability to provide a counterfeit MOT certificate or a counterfeit insurance cover note to prove that you had MOT and insurance. So if it's not on the computer, yeah, then it's not a real one. So that's how they did it on the people that was making the extra book out of using a fraudulent document. Fraudulent document meaning it's not the real one. So now let's spin this back on them. So they showed us how to catch us out, the meaning the normal Joe Bloggs person, man or woman, yeah. So how they caught the people out from being deceptive, even though there was a better way of doing it, but you know, that was because that's all people knew at the time. That's what they did. They went and used to get a counterfeit MOT certificate because they didn't have an MOT, and they used to go and get a counterfeit insurance document because they weren't insured, and they used to use those to produce. So they cancelled that out by using the computer. So now we spin it back on them. So who's them? This is your governments. This is your governments. This is your courts. This is the CPS. This is the police. This is the councils, right? And what they're doing to the people, what they're actually doing to the people, they're breaching the procedures, and therefore, because they're breaching the procedures, obviously they're making documents which are not authenticate, which are not authentic, and therefore not valid, and therefore have no authority of the court, and therefore are also counterfeit, just in the same way as an MOT certificate or an insurance document is counterfeit because it wasn't done correctly, it wasn't taken into the garage, the car wasn't given an inspection, and it wasn't produced therefore a certificate to say that it had been inspected correctly through the correct procedures. You bypass that procedure because you got a counterfeit one, or you got a stolen one that was clamped and was never on the system. Because when a car goes through the MOT, it is automatically logged onto the computer system. Same with your insurance. When you insure a car, it gets logged onto the computer system so that they know that the car is insured. So when a court case is being created, okay, if somebody is to bring a case against you, the first thing that is done, the people, whoever it is, be it the police, be it the CPS, be it the council, be it whoever it is, be it just another man or woman that's bringing a case against you, what they will do is they will make and compile a file, a case file. They'll make a file of paper, this information that they've put together. In that information would be an affidavit, a statement of truth, yeah, that the man is making against you, making a claim against you. Or they would have made a police statement under the caution, under the penalty of perjury, both under the penalty of perjury, yeah, stating that they're claiming the truth, and everything they state is the truth. This information then goes to the CPS. Yeah, the CPS then, they check to make sure that it's viable and it's okay and there's enough information in it. And then the CPS, they then must present that information, lay that information in front of the court. The court, now the court then issues those proceedings, yeah, to whoever it is. Let's say if someone was bringing a case against either man, yeah, and let's say somebody had made a police statement, yeah, against me, against I myself, they would make that police statement, they would collect all their evidence, the witness statements, the evidence, all the evidence to go compile with that to make that case. They would send that into the CPS. The CPS then have got two choices. And this is where Anthony is showing everybody in the world, this is where the courts have been hijacked. This is what Nilu was telling you about. This is what many people have been telling you about, how the courts have been hijacked. And they are being used by the triads. The triad meaning, not the triads as in the Chinese triads. This is your inner triad. Your outer triad was the three-city state. The city of London, yeah, which is the greed, the control of the money. Then you've got the power, which is the city of Washington, which again is not in it's not in America, as we know, yeah. So this is the power. This is the military might, yeah. And then you have the control, which was the Vatican, which again is not in, it's its own city, it's its own country, yeah. And that is the religion. So that is the bigger, and then the internal triad, yeah, which is your police, your council, and the courts. So this triad, and they're all working together. They must be all working together. And none of them are governing in each other, because they're all complicit in these crimes, because otherwise these crimes could not be allowed to be done. And the reason they can get away with these crimes is because the one simple thing. I mean, if I gave you a counterfeit £20 note, yeah, you would see it. The reason why you would see that that's a counterfeit £20 note is because you know what a real £20 looks like. You know, if I gave you a poor quality copy, photocopy, counterfeit MOT certificate, because you know what a real MOT certificate looks like, you would see that it's a counterfeit. So right then, now it comes down to what I'm saying, reversing it back on them. Now the courts. Now when the courts, yeah, are meant to be involved in this scenario, yeah, if the court's involved in the scenario, the court has procedures, and the court will do a certain thing. There's certain things that they must do, i.e., like, you know, on your warrants there must be an embossed seal. Why an embossed seal? The reason for the embossed seal is because you cannot photocopy an embossed seal. An embossed seal is a raised seal, and a photocopy will not come out and raise the paperwork where the crimping of an embossed seal has been done to it. So you'll see that it's not the original one that's been crimped by the embossed seal, therefore it isn't original, and you cannot have a copy of a warrant, it has to be the original. So we're only holding, you see, this is what I'm trying to say. They've held us, they've created it by bringing it into the computer world, yeah, by putting this information onto the computers, yeah, so that people can be caught out, because at the end of the day they can check, they've got somewhere to verify it. They go to the computer, if it's not on the computer, there's something wrong. Then they can either catch you straight out, or they can go, because there is a possibility that it didn't go into the computer. You know, some clerical error could have for some reason not put it on the computer. But you will have supporting evidence to corroborate the fact that what you have is genuine. Bingo. So vice versa, yeah? The point is, though, here, when we're coming down to a court case, the whole reason it is called a case, yeah, is because it's like anything else. The court is the paper. The case is where the paper's been filed. So, when, going back to, as I was saying, about, let's say if someone was to bring a case against either man, and let's say they've been to the police, and they've given a statement, yeah, and then the police, yeah, will obviously come and take me, and obviously come and get a statement from myself too. This information will be compiled and put in together, yeah, and sent to the CPS, for the CPS, because the police can't deal with it. They're only building the case. They're only part of building the case, remember? Or building the filing. They're building the case management. They're building a file of the actual proceedings, basically. What will be heard in the court. So, they then would send it to the CPS, like I've stated, and then the CPS compiles it together and lays that information in front of the court. Now then, what happens then from the court? The court will then serve those proceedings against myself. If they agree that it's a case and it's all legit, they will give it a case number. Now that case number, if it's an official case number, not a reference number, not a CPS number, I'm talking about a case number, because a case number is to the computerized case management file, which will contain everything to do with this case that is now being brought against either man. So, those proceedings from the court then the court themselves would then serve that paperwork on either man, and they would have to get confirmation that I've been served. So they would need to have confirmation that I've been served with the proceedings that was issued by the court, not the CPS, by the court. Okay, so in doing so, they create a computer record. So when I was watching last night, there was a young girl that was being taken to Wales, and I heard the woman said that she's got this dole's order, whatever it is. It's a court order. The woman actually stated that it's from the court. It's been issued from the court. It's been issued from the court, she said. So, I did say on that, I did put a comment. Obviously I was too late while it was happening, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but I did ask the girl, you know, to say, because the police had come out to her. So, the policeman is there, so a policeman has come out. Now, a policeman is one of two things. A policeman is a police officer, and a policeman is also a police constable. So, when the police officer comes out, you must make sure that that officer knows, first and foremost, he is acting as an officer, but first and foremost, he is a man. And that man that stands before you swore an oath. So you must first of all need to know whether he is under his oath, and if he is there in his capacity as a police constable. If he is there as a police constable under his oath, you can then, under the penalty of perjury in his private individual capacity, to provide you the material evidence, that the paperwork that these social services, or these, whatever they weren't actual services, I don't know exactly what it was, but there were some women that was coming to take this young girl, they now need to prove that their paperwork, because they've said their paperwork is from the court. Now, if, like I've stated, if it's from the court, it's going to have an embossed seal and a wet ink signature on it. Void of those two means there's something fishy. It's just like giving you a dodgy £20 note. Would you accept it? Should you accept it? No, you shouldn't. And this police constable is in his duty now, as a peacekeeper, and there to protect you, the public, because that's what he's sworn on an oath to do. So if this paperwork is incorrect and dodgy, he must be aware of this. But they're not. This is the main thing. The police are not. But under the penalty of perjury, you ask these questions, he has to give you an honest answer, or he is therefore complicit in that crime. That crime is what? That crime is stealing a child. That crime is stealing a child with falsified documentation. It's barbarity at the very worst. At the very least, sorry, because the court didn't exist if it didn't go to the court. So if it didn't go through the court, it's got no court authority, so it's got no authority of the court, and it's not authentic, therefore it's counterfeit. There's some bad things going on here, guys. So we now know, it's been confessed by court managers that the council are hiring the court buildings, and they're operating make-believe courts that have zero authority of the court. But they're pretending to be the court, and their paperwork is being stated that it's from the court. However, like the MOT certificates, the insurance and everything else, if there isn't a computer record, it's not from the court, but it's from people within inside that court, i.e. the inner triad, which is what we're saying. The inner triad meaning the police, which are the protectorates of those other two, which is the courts and the council, because they're all working together as one, and they're all covering each other's backs in this complicitness, in these crimes, and they are all conspiring to steal your children, to steal your property, to steal your cars, your houses, everything, and they have been for a very, very long time. So I'm amazed. I mean, I've been allowed back on Facebook, but I've had I think I actually built up to 2 people at one point in time. Yet this information I'm now presenting you, as far as I'm concerned, is life-changing. It's life-changing to understand, because you have to stand with inside yourself and know the truth and qualify everything that's being said to you, not to just accept it as the truth. You must stand in your entirety and use the maxims, which is he who makes a claim carries the burden of proof. And if they are going to make claims, you must make them qualify and validate and authenticate the claims that they are making by providing the material evidence to substantiate those claims. Otherwise, you have given away, you've acquiesced, and they will take it as a tacit agreement, and you will screw yourself over, because you will now become complicit in those crimes if you accept them. Just like I was trying to get through to John Patterson. I tried to get through to John Patterson exactly what he was doing. He was going to become complicit in a crime, and he was going to be the victim. He should never have done what he did, but he couldn't see what I'm explaining. You must hold them to the point and stay on that point until that point has been valid and verified and authenticated, and by the corroboration of the supporting evidence that must be provided. You cannot just say something is legit. You have to provide the corroborating evidence to substantiate that claim. Otherwise, you're a fucking idiot. You are stupid. And we've all been stupid, but we don't have to stay stupid. But one thing is, until we admit we're fucking stupid, we're going to stay stupid. So it's up to you, people. It's entirely up to every single one of you. You all have the free will. And you have all been made very, very fucking stupid in this world. But you have the free will to stay it. Or you also have the free will to admit that you've been made stupid and to see why it is you're being stupid, because you're accepting lies as the truth. You mustn't do that. You must, if you wish to stay sane and if you wish to stay free from the deception and not allow yourself to be deceived, you must stand up with your unalienable rights and demand and command they provide the material evidence to substantiate their claims that they make. Do not allow them to make a claim and you willfully accept it and acquiesce to it and give them the tacit agreement that they require to walk all over you just because you wouldn't stand as a man and demand and command what they have to reply and what they have to supply, should I say, which the maxim commands. The maxim commands, he who makes a claim has the duty and the burden, and carries the burden of proof. And therefore, you are not allowed to make a claim without being able to substantiate that claim with the material evidence that corroborates it as a fact. Otherwise, any officer, any constable, any man or woman in the public service are making claims, false claims. That is malfeasance in office and misfeasance. It's all of the things. And therefore, all the police that are therefore supporting these falsified documentations, i.e. this Dole's order, this court order, this warrant, all these things, are being enforced, which is a belligerent act of terrorism, by these police officers because of their willful ignorance to prove the claim that is being made. Okay? That is how they are getting away with what they've been getting away with for so long. I'm back down to zero watching me again. So there was me thinking Facebook was being good by allowing me to go back live again. However, what I'm claiming here, for and on the record, under the penalty of perjury, what I'm telling you now is in my heart as the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We, as men and women, as individuals, as singular men and women, and as a collective, and as a group of men and women that stand as men and women, must hold our servants to account. We must make them produce the material evidence to substantiate their claims. The Baron David Wood did an affidavit in 2013 and in 2015. This has proven and is a fact in law because it is still unrebutted to this day. There are no governments, there are only corporations, and those corporations require our consent to enforce their acts and statutes and rules and regulations upon either man or any other man in this world, or person, even person. They require a consent from the person that their trickery and dupery of words, they have created by creating a straw man, by creating a legal fiction, by creating a legal embodiment, to the placenta of each man and woman in this world, young and old. Yeah? This is the trickery. Yeah? These are the tricks and the traps that they have catched out. Plus there are many, many others in the layers and layers and layers of deception that they have done to keep themselves safe. The only way you can speak to a man is man to man. That's an obvious. Yeah? You speak to an actor can perform however he fucking chooses to perform. And they've been given their script. An actor is given lines. The actor fucking will repeat his lines. That's why you cannot speak to a police officer. If you're going to speak to one of those men and women that stand there in a uniform, you have to speak to them as the man, as the police constable that swore on the oath. Because the actor didn't swear on the oath. Okay? The man and woman swore on the oath. Yeah? And therefore, yeah, the man and woman is who you have to speak to, not the actor. But you also, the same goes for yourself, yeah? You need to stand as the man or woman, not as the actor. Your actor, yeah? Well, let's just state it for myself. When I was born, and I was born, okay? When I was born, my mother called me Andrew, okay? So if I'm to have a name or a calling, whichever you want to call it, my name is Andrew. Nothing else, no more, nothing less. Andrew. That's it. Okay? There was another name created for me, which is a legal embodiment, a legal fiction, the person. That is Andrew Divine. Okay? That is not me. That is the birth certificate that was created to my placenta. That is not either man. Either man was Andrew. Simple. Not fucking Mr. Andrew. Andrew. I have no title. If I choose to give myself a title, I would give myself the title. Maybe I would agree with what the Baron did. I would give myself the title of Baron, because the etymology of the word Baron means a free man. Okay, so therefore, if I was going to give myself a title, it'll be Baron. If I wanted to give myself a title at all. You know, I don't want to. However, yeah, the point here is very simple. They instill fear because when people are in fear, their minds race. When people's minds are racing and get angry, get upset, the emotions start driving in you, you get quicker and you miss things. You fail to stay centered and calm. You fail to make them provide the material evidence to substantiate every fucking thing that they say. Everything that they say needs to be qualified. It needs to be quantified. It needs to be proven that what it says means what it says, so that there is no trickery, so that you don't fall for no tricks. You know, you need to have your own language. You need to speak that language. You need to know that the language that you are speaking is being understood. And the language that is being spoken to you, you need to understand what that language is. Because they speak a different language to us. They speak legalese. And if you're speaking legalese, if they're speaking legalese and you're speaking English, you're two different languages. That's like a Frenchman and a German talking to each other. They can't hear each other. You know, you have to be on the same geometrical level playing field. On the same geometrical level playing field, yeah, there has to be a meeting of the minds. How can you have a meeting of the minds when you're speaking one language, they're speaking another? There has to be a translator in between that, for therefore to level that playing field out. Stay on point. Stay on point. If you're making a claim, be very, very careful. If you're going to make a claim, make sure you can provide the material evidence to substantiate that claim, or you're possibly lying. You might actually not be telling the truth, because you think it's true does not make it true. because somebody else said it's true doesn't make it true. The facts substantiate the truth, to give it the corroboration, to prove that what you're saying is the truth. And that goes the same vice versa, because it's a level playing field, remember. They want you to say something so that they catch you out. Don't make your claims. Stay on the higher ground, stay as king, asking the questions. Where did you get your authority from? Where did law come from? Where do you make the idea up that you have any authority over either man? Do you think you own me as property? Do you think I'm your slave? Do you think you can bitch me around like some fucking slut? Did not the Creator make all men equal? So you must be Creator then, because you must be above me, therefore you must be the Creator then, yeah? Are you God? Can you produce that material evidence to substantiate that you're God, that you're fucking higher than me? I don't think so. Can you produce the contract that I have, either man has with you, that gives you the authority, that I gave you the consent to govern me? I don't think so. Because why? Because they cannot speak to Andrew. They can only speak to the fiction, Andrew Divine, which isn't me. And actually, funnily enough, that's just a piece of paper, and a piece of paper cannot fucking speak back to them. So actually, would you, if you saw a man speaking to a piece of paper, would you not think he's like mentally impaired? Would you not think that he needs to go in to get some help? So I think if you look at it logically, yeah, you'll see that all the police actually, they need help. They've got serious mental issues because they've been decompartmentalized by those at the top. And it's how the decompartmental works, you see. Because they lack the knowledge, it's every man and woman's duty to inform them, to pass this knowledge on to them, or to at least not necessarily make those statements as fact, because you're going to be the one that's going to have to produce all the material evidence. Just ask, where did you get your authority from over either man? What is it you require from either man, yeah, to be able to stand there in front of me and tell me anything that you're going to come about me? Because let's understand it very simple. There is law and there is legal. What is law? Law is land, air and water given to all men from the Creator, yeah? So we are the law. We are the law. Yeah? We are the law. The men and women, same as we are, actually the government. Yeah? The government is actually the governed, because they are the ones that sworn on the oath, and it's us that govern them. We the people, the government, govern them. So we are actually the government. They've spun it in your head, making out that they are the government. No, they are not the government. They are corporations. Okay? And those corporations require a contract to be able to enforce any of their rules and regulations upon you. Just like McDonald's, just like Burger King, just like Morrison's. These are corporations. They cannot tell you anything, as you have not a contract with them. And that goes the same with the police. These are all corporations. The same with the courts. The same with the government, which is a corporation. These are all corporations on Dun & Bradstreet, and they require your consent. And the reason they're getting it from you is through your tacit agreement and by acquiescing to them, instead of staying on the point and holding them to account on exactly what they're doing. Well, I'm going to see if this is working, because there's still no viewers on this video. You know, thank you, Facebook, for showing how evil you really are. And you've been caught out. I saw that doctor the other day who proved that, you know, he shot up by 80,000 views, and you discredit what do you call? Because you've done it to so many of my accounts. You've taken my accounts down. Yeah, you removed me. You removed me off Facebook. I don't know how many times you've removed me off Facebook, same as YouTube. YouTube, you know, multiple times have removed me off YouTube. Probably because I wasn't becoming, listen, I'll never stop learning. You'll never stop learning, by the way, peeps. You'll never stop learning. But the biggest thing you need to start is to stay on point, stay centered, and demand that they provide the material evidence to substantiate any claim that they make. They meaning council, social services, police, government. But what you need to do, in my opinion, and it's just a logical opinion, like 2 + 2 = 4. You know, why would I want to speak to a piece of paper? Because that's a fiction. I wouldn't. Why are they trying to make me out that I'm a piece of paper, that I'm Andrew Devine, when I'm not Andrew Devine? I'm Andrew. I'm the man. They're trying to speak to me as the fiction. They're trying to coerce me into becoming, into slipping up and making the statement that I'm a fucking piece of paper. If you can't see I'm the living flesh and blood, if you can't see I'm the living man, you have a mental fucking impairment, Mr. Policeman, Mr. Judges, Mr. CPS, Mr. Council, Mr. any fucking arsehole, yeah, who's trying to fucking pull the wool over my eyes, because I know there are many of you that do know the trick. And you do know that you're trying to trick and trap the men and women into being the person, you know? So, like I say, I'll leave this for now, just see how it goes, see if this gets any views. But I will talk more about this. And I'll talk more about this in a calmer, more sensible way, and try to get through to the people. Because I'm nothing fucking special, guys. Stop thinking that I'm, oh, you're really, you got no. No. Fuck off. Don't belittle yourselves. Don't belittle yourselves, mate. The only problem is, right, yeah, this is not so much shit in my head now. And it's taken me 7 years to get that shit out. But that same shit that's in your heads is where you're thinking there is a government. You're thinking. When you put knowledge in, you create closure. When you've got the facts and seen the facts for what the facts are, and you put those facts within inside your head, it eliminates your having to think. Because you don't need to think about what you know. You only think about what you don't know. And that is the reasons why your mind's in a mess, and why my mind is still in a mess. And I'm getting it better because I'm putting more and more facts in there to bring the closure that's required for me to stand solid, right? As a pillar of stone. Pillar of stone, pillar of salt. The pillar of salt will wither away. The pillar of stone stands firm, yeah? And the knowledge is what does that for you, okay? Now my wife's watching me and laughing. Oh, bless her. Anyway, guys. Hope this resonates with everyone. You know, please. I mean, like I say, you know, we know what's coming for us, but listen, they can't do a goddamn thing. You just need to stand in your own power. You were all born with. No one can take them away. You have them. Only if you use them, you have them. You've got these things. It's like you know, you've got 1,000 fucking raving, complete lunatic, zombified monsters that have killed thousands and thousands of people and should be wiped out. And these thousands of people are coming towards you, and they're running at you, and you've got all this armament by your sides that you can just obliterate the whole fucking crowd. But you just stand there and watch them run up and fucking eat you, because you didn't pick up what you'd got, what you'd always got, that's within you. You're an unalienable rights, okay? You have got them, but the thing is, what good's something if you don't know how to use it? So understand who you are, understand the power that you are, yeah? Not to abuse power. The power is there to protect you. This power, it can't be abused. You're not abusing this power, because this power is just righteous. This power is being righteous. This power is what Philotimo is all about. It's the love of honour. Stop dishonouring yourselves and stop dishonouring your fellow brothers and sisters. Yeah, let's do this as a unity. And in unity, that means, you know, what goods? A chain is as strong as its weakest link, correct? Yeah? So if a chain is as strong as its weakest link, we're a group of individual links here. Yeah, in this one big chain that is unite, that it would be the unity of the man and women. Yeah. So anyway, I've said enough. I'll keep it shorter than normal, but hopefully this resonates, and hopefully this will put a bit more closure in your mind to understand exactly how you can protect yourself. You don't need anybody else. You need yourself. That's who you need. You need you need the knowledge, and it's not that the knowledge is there. You command it. You command that it's to be brought forward. Anybody who makes a claim has to provide the material evidence to substantiate it. Okay? So I'll leave it at that. God bless you all. Keep smiling.